Working together, we've transformed education in the city. Before the storm, New Orleans public schools were largely broken. Leaving generations of low-income kids without a decent education. Today, thanks to parents and educators, school leaders, nonprofits, we're seeing real gains in achievement. With new schools, more resources to retain and develop and support great teachers and principals. We have data that shows before the storm, the high school graduation rate was 54%. Today, it's up to 73%. Before the storm, college enrollment was 37%. Today, it's almost 60%. We still have a long way to go, but that is real progress. New Orleans is coming back better and stronger. Working together, we're providing housing assistance to more families today than before the storm. With new apartments and housing vouchers. And we will keep working until everybody who wants to come home can come home. Together, we're building a New Orleans that is as entrepreneurial as any place in the country. With a focus on expanding job opportunities and making sure that more people benefit from a growing economy here. We're creating jobs to rebuild the city's transportation infrastructure. Expanding training programs for industries like high-tech manufacturing, but also water management, because we've been building some good. Water management around here, and we want to make sure everybody has access to those good, well-paying jobs. Small businesses like Michelle's are growing. It's small businesses like hers that are helping to fuel. "65 straight months of private sector job growth in America. That's the longest streak in American history. Together, we're doing more to make sure that everyone in the city has access to great health care. More folks have access to primary care at neighborhood. Clinics so that they can get the preventive care that they need. We're building a brand new VA medical center downtown. Alongside a thriving biosciences corridor that's attracting new jobs and investment. We are working to make sure that we have additional mental health facilities across the city and across the country. And more people have access to quality, affordable health care. Some of the more than 16 million Americans who have gained health insurance over the past few years. All of this progress is the result of the commitment and drive of the people of this region. I saw that spirit today. Mitch and I started walking around a little bit. Such a nice day outside. And we went to Foberlafide. We were in Treem, and we saw returning residents living in brand new homes. Mixed income new homes near schools and clinics and parks, child care centers, more opportunities for working families. We saw that spirit today at Willie Mae's Scotch House. After Katrina had destroyed that legendary restaurant. Some of the best chefs from the country decided America could not afford to lose such an important place. So they came down here to help rebuild. And I just sampled some of her fried chicken. It was really good. Although I did get A grease spot on my suit. But that's okay. If you come to New Orleans and you don't have a grease spot somewhere, then you didn't enjoy the city. Just glad I didn't get it on my tie. We all just heard that spirit of New Orleans in the remarkable young people from Roots of Music. When the storm washed away a lot of middle school music programs, Roots of Music helped fill that gap. And today, it's building the next generation of musical talent, the next Irma Thomas. Or the next trombone shorty, or the next Dr. John. There's a Marsalis kid in here somewhere. How you doing? And I saw it in the wonderful young men I met earlier who are part of NOLA for life. Which is focused on reducing the number of murders in the city of New Orleans. This is a program that works with the White House's My Brother's Keeper initiative to make sure that all young people and particularly our boys and young men of color who so disproportionately are impacted by crime and violence. Have the opportunity to fulfill their full potential. In fact, after the storm, this city became a laboratory for urban innovation across the board. And we've been tackling with you. As a partner, all sorts of major challenges fighting poverty, supporting our homeless veterans. And as a result, New Orleans has become a model for the nation as the first city the first major city to end veterans' homelessness, which is a remarkable achievement. You're also becoming a model for the nation when it comes to disaster response and resilience. We learned lessons from Katrina. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers developed stricter standards. more advanced techniques for levees. Here in Louisiana, we built a $14 billion system of improved levees. And pump stations and gates, a system that stood the test of Hurricane Isaac. We've revamped FEMA, and I just have to say, by the way, there's a man named Craig Fugate who runs FEMA. And has been doing extraordinary work, and his team, all across the country, every time there's a disaster. I love me some Craig Fugate. Although it's a little disturbing he gets excited. When there are disasters, because he gets restless if everything is just quiet. But under his leadership, we've revamped FEMA into a stronger, more efficient agency. In fact, the whole federal government has gotten smarter at preventing and recovering from disasters. And serving as a better partner to local and state governments. And as I'll talk about next week, when I visit Alaska, making our communities more resilient. Is going to be increasingly important, because we're going to see more extreme weather events. As the result of climate change, deeper droughts, deadlier wildfires, stronger storms. That's why. In addition to things like new and better levees. We've also been investing in restoring wetlands and other natural systems that are just as critical for storm protection. So we've made a lot of progress over the past 10 years. You've made a lot of progress. That gives us hope. But it doesn't allow for complacency. It doesn't mean we can rest. Our work here won't be done when almost 40% of children still live in Poverty in the city. That's not a finished job. That's not a full recovery. Our work won't be done when a typical black household earns half the income of white households in the city. The work is not done yet. Our work is not done when there's still too many people who have yet to find good, affordable housing. And too many people, especially African American men, who can't find a job. Not when there are still too many people who haven't been able to come back home, folks who, around the country. Every day, live the words sung by Louis Armstrong. Do you know what it means to miss New Orleans? But the thing is, the people of New Orleans, there's something in you guys that is just irrepressible. You guys have a way of making a way out of no way. You know the sun comes out after every storm. You've got hope, especially your young people reflect hope. Young people like Victor York Carter. Where's Victor? Victor York Carter. Stand up. Victor. I was just talking to Victor. I had some lunch with him. He's this. Fine young man that I just met with. Stand up, everybody. See, these are the guys who I ate chicken with. Really impressive, have overcome more than their fair share of challenges, but are still focused on the future. Yes, sit down. I don't want you to start getting embarrassed. So I'll just give you one example. Victor grew up in the 8th Ward. Gifted art student. Loved math. He was 13 when Katrina hit. And he remembers waking up to what looked like something out of a disaster movie. He and his family waded across the city, towing his younger brother in a trash can to keep him afloat. They were eventually evacuated to Texas. Six months later, they returned, and the city was almost unrecognizable. Victor saw his peers struggling to cope, many of them still traumatized, their lives still disordered. So he joined an organization called Rethink to help young people get more involved in rebuilding New Orleans. And recently, he finished a coding boot camp at Operation Spark. Today, he's studying to earn a high-tech job. He wants to introduce more young people to science and technology. And civics so that they have the tools to change the world. And so Victor and these young men that I just met with, they've overcome extraordinary odds. They've lived through more than most of us will ever have to endure. They've made some mistakes along the way. But for all that they've been through, they have been just as determined to improve their own lives. To take responsibility for themselves, but also to try to see if they can help others along the way. So when I talk to young men like that, that gives me hope. It's still hard. I told them they can't get down on themselves. Tough stuff will happen along the way. But if they've come this far, they can keep on going. And Americans like you, the people of New Orleans. Young men like this, you're what recovery has been all about. You're why I'm confident that we can recover from crisis and start to move forward. You've helped this country. recover from a crisis and helped it move forward. You're the reason 13 million new jobs have been created. You're the reason the unemployment rate fell from 10% to 5.3. You're the reason that layoffs are near an all-time low. You're the reason the uninsured rate is at an all-time low and the high school graduation rate is at an all-time high. And the deficit has been cut by 2/3, and 2 wars are over. And nearly 180,000 American troops who were serving in Iraq and Afghanistan have now gone down to 15. And a clean energy revolution is helping to save this planet.